Before history learned how to speak in words, it learned how to whisper in ruins. Imagine standing on the baked earth of Sind at dawn, the air still cool, the sun just beginning to reveal brick walls older than most civilizations you've ever heard of. There are no towering pyramids here, no carved kings announcing their glory, just silent streets, precise brickwork, and a question that refuses to die. What really happened to the city of Mohenjo-Daro? This is not a story of sudden apocalypse, alien weapons, or divine punishment from the skies. That version is tempting, it's dramatic, it spreads fast on the internet. But the real story is far more human, far more unsettling, and far more fascinating. Because Mohenjo-Daro did not disappear in a single night. It faded, slowly, quietly, like a civilization running out of breath. More than 4,500 years ago, along the banks of the Indus River, Mohenjo-Daro rose as one of the world's earliest planned cities. At a time when most humans were still living in scattered villages, this city had straight roads laid out in a grid, multi-story brick houses, public baths, covered drains, and a sanitation system that modern cities would envy. Every brick followed a standard size. Every street followed logic. Nothing here was accidental. Picture the people who lived here. Merchants weighing goods with stone weights calibrated so precisely that archaeologists are still amazed. Craftsmen shaping beads from carnelian and lapis lazuli. Children running through alleys that were kept clean by a drainage system built beneath their feet. Women drawing water from wells that still stand today. This was not a primitive society struggling to survive. This was an organized, confident urban culture. Yet strangely, Mohenjo-Daro left behind no grand palaces, no giant statues of rulers, no obvious temples towering above the city. Power here did not scream. It was quiet, distributed, civic. And that may be the first clue to both its success and its downfall. When British archaeologists uncovered Mohenjo-Daro in the 1920s, the world was stunned. This city was as old as ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, yet almost forgotten by history. No epic poems told its story, no king lists mentioned its rulers, and, most mysteriously of all, no clear explanation existed for why it was abandoned. That mystery opened the door to speculation. Some claimed the city was destroyed by a massive explosion. Others spoke of advanced ancient weapons, nuclear-like blasts, or divine punishment. These theories sound exciting, but they collapse under evidence. No melted stone, no radiation, no crater, no mass burn layer. Archaeology is slow, careful, and often disappointing to those who want instant drama, but it tells a deeper truth. Let's talk about the skeletons. One of the most repeated myths is that Mohenjo-Daro's streets were found littered with bodies as if the people died suddenly where they stood. This is simply not true. Only a small number of skeletons were found, scattered across different layers and time periods. They do not show signs of mass violent death. No battlefield, no sudden massacre, no city frozen in its final moment. So, if not sudden destruction, then what? To understand what happened, we need to look at the Indus River itself, because rivers give life, and rivers can take it away just as quietly. The Indus River is powerful, but unpredictable. Over centuries, it changes its course, it floods, it retreats. Geological evidence suggests that during Mohenjo-Daro's lifetime, the region experienced repeated and severe flooding. Not once, not twice, again and again. Archaeologists found layers of silt throughout the city, thick flood deposits that forced the people to rebuild, raising their floors, reinforcing walls, adapting. At first, they managed. Humans are incredibly resilient when the system still works, but over time, the floods became more frequent and more destructive. Imagine rebuilding your home every few decades, raising streets, clearing mud, repairing wells, all while trade routes weaken and food production becomes unstable. Eventually, even the strongest system starts to crack. Climate played its part too. Scientific studies suggest that around 2000 BCE, the monsoon patterns began to shift. Rainfall decreased in some areas, increased unpredictably in others. The Indus Valley civilization relied on a delicate balance of seasonal flooding and agriculture. When that balance broke, food security followed. Crops failed, trade slowed, population pressure increased, and slowly the city began to lose what made it a city. Another critical clue lies in what Mohenjo-Daro did not have. There is no strong evidence of large-scale warfare, no city walls built for defense, no weapons stockpiled for battle. This civilization was not obsessed with conquest. It thrived on trade, order, and cooperation. That works beautifully in stable conditions. It becomes dangerous when conditions change. As floods worsened and resources tightened, smaller groups likely moved away first. Farmers shifted to higher ground. Traders followed safer routes. Skilled workers left for places with better opportunities. Cities do not collapse when people die. They collapse when people leave. Over generations, Mohenjo-Daro became quieter. Houses fell into disrepair. Drains clogged. The Great Bath, once a symbol of communal life, stopped being maintained. The heartbeat of the city slowed until it was barely there at all. There is something deeply human about this ending. No dramatic fire, no final scream, just the slow realization that the place your grandparents built no longer supports your future. And then there is the script. The Indus Valley script remains undeciphered to this day. This is one of the greatest frustrations in archaeology. The people of Mohenjo-Daro could tell us exactly what happened. They wrote things down. Seals, tablets, inscriptions exist, but their language has not yet given up its secrets. Without written records, we rely on bricks, bones, and soil, and those speak of adaptation, stress, and gradual decline. One of the most haunting aspects of Mohenjo-Daro is how modern it feels. The concern for hygiene, the standardized urban planning, the absence of visible extreme inequality. It forces us to confront an uncomfortable idea. Advanced societies are not immune to collapse. Intelligence alone does not guarantee survival. In recent years, scientists have added new layers to this story using satellite imagery and climate modeling. These studies suggest that not only did the Indus River shift, but other nearby rivers dried up entirely. Trade networks that once connected Mohenjo-Daro to Mesopotamia weakened. When long-distance trade collapses, cities lose more than goods. They lose connection. And still, the myths persist. People want a single dramatic cause, a single event, a single villain. But history is rarely that simple. Civilizations usually fall the same way humans burn out, not all at once, but through exhaustion. Mohenjo-Daro did not fail because its people were foolish. It failed because they lived at the edge of environmental balance, and that balance changed. What makes this story resonate today is how familiar it feels. We live in cities built on systems we assume will always work. Water flows when we turn the tap. Food arrives on schedule. Infrastructure hums quietly beneath us. But Mohenjo-Daro reminds us that systems require constant care, adaptation, and respect for nature's limits. When you walk through the ruins today, there is no sign saying, "This is where it all went wrong." Just bricks, streets, wells, silence. And perhaps that silence is the most powerful lesson of all. This city was not erased, it was forgotten, buried slowly by time, mud, and memory, until we dug it up again and realized that the past was not as distant as we thought. Mohenjo-Daro stands as a mirror, not of mystery weapons or lost super technology, but of human ambition, intelligence, and vulnerability. It tells us that even the most advanced urban civilization of its time could not control the river forever, could not force the climate to behave, and could not guarantee its own permanence. And maybe that's why its story still grips us. Because deep down, we know this is not just about an ancient city in the Indus Valley, it's about us, about how civilizations rise not just on bricks and roads, but on balance, and how they fall, not with explosions, but the quiet footsteps leaving town, one family at a time. The bricks of Mohenjo-Daro are still there, sun-baked, patient, waiting, not to shock us with myths, but to remind us that history does not need drama to be powerful. Sometimes, the slow truth is the most haunting story of all.